So what I'm saying to the left now is, no, I'm seeing something new and different here. The MAGA base has changed. Those are our right-wing brother and sisters who are Americans, who are populists, who agree with us. Let's go fight the establishment together. Because
hello, everybody. Guys, we got Cenk Uygur on PBD's podcast, and I think at this point, it's no doubt that Cenk Uygur is pandering to the right to try to get a bigger audience. It seems to me that it's a grift. He wants more money, and he sees what he believes the climate is changing, the political climate, ever since Trump won, especially. Let's check this out.
Before, when I battled the right wing, it was a wall, right? I'm just like, nobody's listening to one another. They're just doing talking points. I hated it. And then MAGA looked like they were 100%. I'll be honest. I mean, in 2020, I was super pissed. And I said, look, I don't want to talk to Trump supporters. All I hear is the same thing. Trump, 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 Trump. And they never waver. So what I'm saying to the left now is, no, I'm seeing something new and different here. The MAGA base has changed. Okay. That doesn't mean they don't like Trump. It doesn't mean that they're not right wing.
This is unbelievable. He said that they changed. This was the most racist, bigotry-filled campaign run. These people on the right, they're pushing religion to be taught in school, using Trump Bibles, by the way, even though religion teaches you to be, to teach on a fundamental level, kindness and respect. These people are conspiracy theorists. These people think Trump is God. They're cultists. He's literally going to try to make the balance that the people on the left are actually the irrational ones and hard to work with. This is sad to see, and to me, it's clear as day. His view counts on the Young Turks are down, and they're trying to get more money, and there's just definitely more money on the right wing.
But there is a significant portion of the MAGA base now that is, in my opinion, right-wing populists who are actually anti-establishment, actually anti-corruption, actually anti-war. And what I'm trying to tell the left is, take the win. Take the win. We've been standing opposed here for 20 years, trying to cut the Pentagon, trying to be anti-war, getting money out of politics. If people say yes, for God's sake, that's our lost tribe. Those are our right-wing brother and sisters who are Americans, who are populists, who agree with us. Let's go fight the establishment together, because if we're united, they cannot stop us.
This is the same garbage that Charlemagne the God was pushing. Let's unite with MAGA. These people are out of their mind. They believe literally everything opposite, sometimes just a troll. These people are disgusting. The things that they say, is even PBD, trying to make the argument that black people probably have something genetically or inherently wrong with them as to why crime and they're in poverty or stuff like that, completely dismissing the fact that crime is higher in red states. These guys believe DEI, something that's going to help black and brown and just overall disenfranchised subgroups of the population, is anti-white. It's doing the same thing that CNN is doing, which is both sides game. These people say constantly immigrants and minorities are either violent or dumb, or angle it to that way one way or another. Even though it's been proven time and time again that immigrants, legal or illegal, commit crimes at a lower rate. These people think free speech, when all they say is, really what free speech means to them is they just want to have bigotry without any accountability. These people are not people to unite with.
Are you at all in a place right now? You're registered what? Democrat?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you at all at a place where you've thought about being a registered independent or libertarian?
So the reason I became a Democrat is because in California, if you're an independent, you can't vote in Democratic primaries. And so I wanted to vote for Bernie Sanders, et cetera. So I became a Democrat, and I don't have any problem staying in the Democratic Party. I ran for president in the Democratic Party as a protest candidate against Biden, as you remember, right? Mm-hmm. But now we're in a situation where we've got realignment, where there's a left-right spectrum, then there's the populist establishment spectrum, right? So I am center-left, but I'm way populist. I'm 100% populist, right? So things are moving. If it turns out, and the parties have switched before.
He's never called himself center-left. Guys, I don't care. Let me know in the comments if I'm going nuts on this. And I think there's enough evidence out there if you just do a YouTube search that he's grifting to the right. There's no other reason that he's doing this. This is why I say even a lot of these people on the left, I think they're grifty, even on the left. They don't really care about the issues. They have no emotion behind these issues. And even some people that do have a lot of emotion, like Cenk, they don't have an ideology. It's a money thing for a lot of these people. They're not affected by it. They're rich. They're well off. It doesn't affect them in the same way. And I think a lot of them just are doing things for money. And I hate to say it, but what else is this? And the same thing with Anna Kasparian.
If the parties completely switch, then I don't have any allegiance to a party label or name, right? But right now, the Republicans are still right-wing, Democrats are still left-wing, so I'm going to stay there.
So why do you think the Democratic Party lost a Rogan, lost a Tulsi, lost a Bobby, lost a Musk, lost a Trump, all these guys were former Democrats. Why do you think, and let's set Trump aside, because maybe Trump's Democrat in the 80s and 90s. Let's kind of come to the names recently, like Musk, like Rogan, like Tulsi, like Bobby, these guys. Why do you think they're losing these names?
Yeah, so everything's a little bit different, and every person's different. So Tulsi, I think, was always secretly a right-winger, but Bobby Kennedy Jr. was
That's
not.
right.
He was definitely a Democrat, right? And
But he's a grift. He was trying to get a job with Kamala Harris, and she wouldn't even take a meeting with the moron. Like, this is insane. You didn't lose him. He again grifting. He's just trying to get power, trying to get money. He took meetings with both Trump and Kamala.
so he's a decent example. So Bobby has opinions that a lot of people on the left don't agree with, right? To which I say something revolutionary to the left. So what? Okay, he agrees with us on the environment. He agrees with us on housing, on anti-corruption. He doesn't agree with us on vaccines, fluoride, etc., right? Why don't we...
But he's gonna be health secretary, you dumb shit. You don't see how insane that is when we just had a pandemic? We had a president, Donald Trump, downplaying the pandemic when he knew he was caught on audio, knowing how deadly the virus was. And now we have one that believes that vaccines cause autism and vaccines were being used to target black people and Jewish people and during COVID. This guy is insane. Again, with this both sides nonsense.
have a conversation with the brother? Why don't we include him? Why don't we do a real primary? And if he wins, he wins. If he loses, he loses. Do you believe in democracy or don't you believe in democracy? And look, he would have easily lost the primary, in my opinion, in the Democratic side. But what the Democrats, and this is a culture problem, right? So on policy, I'm totally left wing. But when you talk about culturally, there's a couple of issues that are going on. Number one, I've always been like when I was a kid, I was a Hulkamaniac, right?
Yes.
And so, look, I love all you folks who love the art and the opera and the ballet and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. And my sister does, and my friends, etc. But I'm not that guy. Like when I listen to NPR, I'd always be like, "Why are they whispering? Why don't they speak the fuck up?" Right? Like
Soothing.
so,
Very soothing.
yeah. So culturally, I've always been a populist too. But the real problem with the left and the Democratic Party these days, culturally, is we don't want you, we don't want you, we don't want you. If there's a 2% disagreement, we want to cancel you and get you the hell out of here. Right wing, in my opinion, has their own version of cancel culture. We can get into that. But with the right wing, you agree with them 2%, they're like, "Oh, welcome in, come to the party. Oh, yeah, come on in. Come."
This is unbelievable. It's because the right wing wants you to go as low as they are. Like, unless you're a cultist like they are and believe some of the nonsense that they believe, they won't agree with you. He is such insane. And sorry, I won't be. Like, people on the left are just much more pragmatic. And I'm just not going to bend the knee to disgusting pieces of crap racists and bigots, conspiracy theorists, and just the lowest of the low. I'm sorry, I'm not going to capitulate. These people go low. There's no more, let's meet halfway with these people. Let's see where we can go. No, they want to go, we go lower. We bring them to the depths of hell if necessary. This kind of ideology needs to be scoured off society.
Come on in. And if one party's constantly pushing people out and the other party's constantly inviting them in, well, at some point, the party inviting them in has the bigger tent, and you not only win the election, you win the popular vote. So Democrats have to get out of this mindset of, you must agree with Democratic leadership, and if you don't, you're ruining unity. Shut up and get back in line. No, hell no. Young Turks have never been in line. We're never going to get in line. We're not going to get in line for MAGA. We're not going to get in line for the Democratic Party. And these idiots said, bow your head to Joe Biden. And Pat, you know, I was on the show. I was on every show, and I said, what are you guys, nuts? His brain has fallen out of his ear. He's shaking hands with invisible people. He thinks his uncle was eaten by cannibals. You guys are lunatics. And
Most normal people thought that about Biden, that he was too old. But to try to act like Trump is normal and he's all there, I would take a dog as president before I wanted Trump there. This is what he's acting like he doesn't understand. Are you going to talk about Trump at all and the disgusting things he was saying? Poisoning the blood of the people, shooting squads, all these disgusting things. This is why they win, because they're cultists. It's so much easier to convince society when you've made them conspiracy brained, and you've made them believe that you have all the answers, which is the Donald Trump, the Elon Musk, these people on the right, Candace Owens, Ben Shapiro. These people are cultists. They believe anything. And Democrats, people on the left, are just more pragmatic. You say something crazy, they're going to call you crazy. You say something racist, they'll call you racist. They're not going to just be like, oh, and freeze up, or never, even on CNN, never, ever. Or you will see a Republican push back on the racism that's being pushed by the right or Trump himself. Why? Because they're cultists. And if you don't do that, you'll be outcasted. You'll be out of a job. You'll be out from the right wing.
will not agree to being a lunatic for your agenda. So look, to me, like, look, I want to propose this as rules for the internet.
I want to hear it. Go for it.
And
guys, you won't believe this crap. What he's about to say right now. We're almost done here. Truly unbelievable.
but it's so important that both the right wing and left wing agree with this, right? So let me bounce it off you guys. Number one rule: when we disagree, we fight, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong. It's America. Okay, we disagree. We got freedom of speech. Let's rumble. Let's brawl. There's nothing wrong with that.
What do you mean rumble and brawl?
I mean, of course, rhetorically, politically,
Debating.
not violent.
I'll throw down right now, Jack. Take it easy.
Because as simple as that sounds, that was not popular with the left the last 8 years. We've invited so many people from the left, and we will always invite them. But unfortunately, they don't like to fight as much as the other side like.
This is nonsense. It's because they do come on the show and they humiliate you. Roland Martin was there, humiliated you. Sam Cedar, which I love both of these guys, humiliated you. The David Pakman. What are you talking about? You just look stupid when you talk to people that are not cultists.
To fight. Okay.
Yeah.
What's rule two?
Rule number two of the internet. Afterwards, you must have a beer together. Okay.
Tip O'Neill and Reagan.
Yeah. And so what I mean by that is you don't have to love the other guy. You don't have to agree with him. But we got to go back to being Americans, right? So, okay, we have a fight. Then let's go get a beer. So what? Okay, I don't agree with you on healthcare. I don't agree with you on trans issues. And I know some people say, hey, look, is there a line that goes too far? Yeah, for some people, there's a line that goes too far. But in general, let's go back to listening to one another. We've been yelling at each other. And by the way, I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I mean, I think as far as yelling on the internet goes.
Have a beer after with people that think minorities or immigrants are subhuman or violent or dirtying the country, as Tucker Carlson said. Like a good 20-30% of these people are straight up bigots. If they're not bigots, they're misogynists, they're racist, they're one of these things. Like, F that. There's no way I'm having a beer with these guys. And this is the thing about normalizing them. CNN is doing the same thing with this both sides and normalizing. And now they're actually trying to act like the left is their extreme ones on these issues. When we're the ones that are just saying, leave everyone alone. Treat everyone fairly. That's it.
To your point, yeah, I've done that many, many times, but I try to have a beer afterwards so that we can still be a country together, okay? And last one is number 3 is when
you have a beer with these psychopaths, you're normalizing them. You're normalizing their views, their ideology. You're putting it at a level of just a normal ideology. And it's just not. This stuff needs to be outcasted and push it to the fringe of society where it once was. Guys, these people think DEI is anti-white. I'm sorry, I can't have a beer with you.
I agree. Let's do something really bold and unite. Okay. And if we unite, we will be invincible. Because look, as I said in that tweet, my mortal enemy is the establishment. The one that says, no, the politicians are honest. No, the donor money doesn't affect anyone. You know, this absurdity of CNN and New York Times pretending that the donor money doesn't affect the candidates and it doesn't affect the bills. When they start talking about legislation and we're talking about, hey, can we negotiate drug prices? And you're not talking about big pharma spending billions, if not trillions of dollars in lobbying and donating to the politicians, et cetera. No, it's utter corruption. And we cannot beat that corruption unless we unite. So if the right wing, if I'm right about the right wing populists, and I made a bet with one of my co-hosts last night, okay, well, I can tell you about that too. But if I'm right about the right wing populists and we unite on some things that we agree on, I think we're going to be invincible and finally beat the establishment.
So
Guys, I'm going to leave it there, but these people don't have a true ideology. It's whatever their daddy Trump tells them or their daddy Elon Musk tells them. These people don't have any true values. And as long as you say, hey, this is anti-white, and say right, they know who their base is, so they feed them this red meat. The red meat is usually racism, bigotry, especially on trans people, misogyny, and sexism on women. This is the red meat, and these people know. And the base is it's a cycle that's going in circles. These big influencers are keep feeding the meat that these people, right, the MAGA cultists, the MAGA base, the people that have pushed society to this direction want. And it's just cyclical. It keeps going back and forth, and these people are making a lot of money from it. And in my belief, Cenk clearly wants some of that money. Mark my words here, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. And thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next.